Hi, this isn't going to be one of those videos where someone just spends ages taking stuff out of a box. Let's cut to the chase. In the box you get the boat, 2 seats, 2 oars which come in 2 pieces, a pump and a repair kit. There's also a tough black cover that wraps around the boat for protection after it's been rolled up. Oh, by the way, the cat doesn't come with the kit, she's just doing a quality inspection. Let's put the boat together. When you first start to unroll it, you find there are quite a few bits of plastic which are in there presumably for protection, and I wasn't intending to hang on to these because I don't think they're necessary. It's just for transit purposes from the factory to the shop. I've never had an inflatable boat before, and I'm quite concerned about accidentally puncturing it through poor techniques of setting up or when putting it away. Let's just speed this up a little bit. The supplied pump has a long inflation tube. It's also got a pressure gauge and it seems to work pretty well. It took me about 20 minutes to do the full inflation. There are 3 parts to the main tubing, and then the V floor has another 2 sections to inflate. I only partially inflated each of the compartments initially, and that was so that I could slide the 2 seats on. Sliding the seats on was a little bit tricky. You have to be able to locate a bolt rope into a slot. I've subsequently found that if there are 2 of you, one on each side of the boat, that can make it a little bit easier. But it definitely is the case that you don't need to have the tubes fully inflated, as that will make it far too difficult. Both of the oars were easy to fit, and they seem sturdy enough, although it's quite clear that they're not meant to be the primary means of propulsion. The boat doesn't have standard rowlocks like you might see in some other inflatable boats. Instead, it has a couple of posts which can rotate, and the oars slide onto these, and then there's a retaining bolt to hold them on. I decided to fit some launch wheels, which I also bought from Boatworld. They came with stainless steel fitting plates. These needed to be attached to the transom. I'm always really nervous about drilling holes in boats, and so I had a number of things to consider before reaching that point and working out where it was I was going to drill. When down, will the launch wheels need to fit under the back of the boat, or should they be sticking out from the back of the boat? This could have consequences for weight distribution when pulling the boat along, or being in the way when in the stowed position. Will the launch wheels be long enough if the outboard's fully down? If the stainless steel fittings are too high, then the engine's going to drag if the engine's in the fully down position. If they're too low, then the wheels could well interfere with the transom when in the stored position. Placement of fittings was critical too, because their lateral positioning would determine if they'd interfere with the boat tubes or the outboard engine. If this was a problem, then the wheels could actually be removed completely, just leaving the fittings, although you just have to put the wheels into the boat with you, which is a bit of a pain. The good news was that I got my measurements correct. The wheels were in the ideal position. They're located in the fitting with a drop nose retaining pin, and they lock into position and are held by a spring-loaded pin. In practice, pulling the boat over rough ground did cause the pin to jump out of position. One final thing I did was I used some scrap neoprene to make simple protective covers for the fittings. I didn't want to risk them damaging the tubes when the boat was fully deflated and folded. So, how did the boat perform? Setting up and putting away took about 25 minutes. Pulling the boat over land was easy, and the wheels felt sturdy as they were well within their load rating. The 6 horsepower outboard pushed her along easily with 2 crew. At just above tickover, we were doing about 4 knots. Away from the harbour, it was blowing force 3 to 4, and the boat bounced through the waves without difficulty. Rowing was also surprisingly easily possible when manoeuvring towards the slipway. The oar locations and seat placement seemed to work well. The big question, would I recommend this boat? So far, I would say definitely, because it ticks so many boxes for me. If you want a boat that fits into your estate car and it's big enough for 2 or 3 people and some gear, and it can be set up and manoeuvred by one person, and it appears to be well made, then this could be the boat for you. Please like and subscribe if you found this video helpful. Also look out for my upcoming video about making an inexpensive spray dodger for the boat.